I think we live in such an amazing moment. We have so many tools for picking up these ancient questions, these ancient human questions. What does it mean to be human? How do we want to live? What matters in a life? How do we craft a life? And we're coming to understand ourselves. I really think we have a capacity to aspire to wholeness. I think that not that far in the future, people will look back at us, at the way we've used this language of body, mind, spirit, like these were separate things, and think, how primitive, how kind of sweet we were, that we didn't understand how completely intertwined all of this is. And these are some of the things we're learning, that, what we've called emotions and what we call spirit, which I can't define for you, and again, we all have a different definition, but everybody knows what I'm talking about when I use that word, right? And what we call, and our bodies, and this is why yoga is, or CrossFit for other people. Like we are literally reconnecting ourselves.
Well, I think, and this is actually the wondrous time of now, is that we are gaining more insight into our own capacity to connect these things. In fact, actually, there's a book that's going to be coming out soon, and it's called Cure. You might be interested in interviewing the author at some point, and I'll connect that with you. But it's about spontaneous cures. And the reason I bring this up is because these things happen, and sometimes it's attributed to prayer, sometimes it's attributed to a diet, sometimes it just happens. But what many of us don't understand, although we're beginning to be enlightened to, is really the power within ourselves to change everything. To change ourselves, to change even our gene expression, to change how we see the world, to change the manner in which we interact with others. And how many have read my book? Okay, go buy it if you have. But the reason I bring that up is because as a child, when I learned some of these things in a very difficult situation, I was struck, though, and it still remains with me, how even at a young age, and this is available to everyone, we have the capacity within us to change everything.
Yeah.
And that's what's so extraordinary. And now we're getting the tools that allows us to do that, to change our health, to change how we see the world, to change how we react to the world. And I think, of course, Viktor Frankl and this idea of the stimulus and the response. And really, I think the key is what happens in the pause between those two. And when we can learn to hold that and manifest what that pause means, that's what changes everything for us.
And I think of wisdom as something that we should aspire to collectively as well, communally and as a species. And if you think about, we've known this in a sense and called it the placebo effect.
Absolutely.
Which was a way of putting it in a box until we could actually understand that we're talking about the fact that, that our brains are pharmacies and that we can activate that.
Well, it's also like ancient wisdom, where monastics have known for thousands of years that with deep meditation, they can have profound things happen to their bodies. And the challenge with science is that oftentimes science is not humble. Science is arrogant. And to be able to have the humility to go back and look at these traditions and respect them and then try to understand physiologically what they do. And I think that's where we're at now, and there have been some incredible individuals who've spent decades doing that now. And of course, the Dalai Lama has been one of those individuals who's really stimulated this interest in what we now call contemplative neuroscience.
Right. And the science of neuroplasticity, which the Dalai Lama and some of his monks helped spur that. It's so amazing.